Yep, this is the movie that got Garo revived and put back on television.
I'd really like to know how Keita Amamiya got the clout to get this series continued onwards, as while Garo itself works as a very good one-and-done series, it didn't take in the ratings for regular viewership.
I have taken the time to look this up, but I haven't gotten a straight answer back of why it came back in 2011. I'm glad it did, though. The reception for this movie was strong enough to warrant the second full series, Makai Senki, and now we have Garo running year-round thanks to the anime changing out with a related live-action series to keep things dynamic. That's pretty much all I have for this opening segment, so let's get right to it.
As it's been a few years since the last Garo media, the movie opens with a rehash of Garo's overarching story, before segueing to a street in an unnamed city.
At least, I don't remember it being named.
Where a woman and a man with a wood case, potentially a red light district, musing that their master would like it here. This leads into Koga coming to town to investigate a new threat, as a group of Makai priests stalk a woman with a baby, both of them actually horrors, but they were unaware of the baby being one as well.
I would not have made that mistake. They're all soulless demons, I tell you. Demons!
I hate babies.
And that brush he is carrying is just plain ridiculously oversized. I mean, come on, who would actually make something like that? But hey, the mechanical puppets they use for fighting horrors? That is really creative, and an obvious intermediary to some of the giant mechanical constructs we'd seen before and after this as a way to fight horrors without Makai armor.
I mean, seriously, if you're a glass cannon spellcaster, you would want to put something in your way in battle.
And they don't seem to act too dissimilar to a Ghostbusters proton pack either, trapping the horrors as they remove their physical form. It is rather impressive.
Wait, Ghostbusters in the Garoverse? Someone figure out how to do that.
The third priest, Rekka, joins the other two, Akaza and Shikata, for the sealing. But as they miss the baby, Koga has to drop in and save their lives.
And wow, is that thing massive. It's too bad that thing's size is going to be a hindrance in a moment.
Koga drags it away and cuts the guillotine-headed atrocity down, all the while saving Rekka from charging in, spellbrush blazing, and has his badass walkaway interrupted by Akaza asking why he's in the area. It's here we learn of Karma, an apostle horror, which are a class of horror that are considered to be near the power of Messiah, that has been cited as being in the area, so he was asked to come by. Rekka says it's the priest's duty, wanting to compete to getting the honor of slaying Karma.
Which is a mite stupid when you think about it. This is an extremely powerful, extremely dangerous entity that we later learn has been killing knights sent against it for decades. Yeah. You would think that, even if she had a personal grudge, which she does, she would appreciate the assistance against it.
Then again, this is a recurring trope in fiction, that personal vengeance makes people, well, stupid about accepting help or having assistance. One that really needs to die out, as it is ridiculously overused. Karma's servants, Kurusu and Shion, set up a shop so its patrons can be Karma's fodder, permitting it to feed in a subtle manner, and of course Karma is dressed scantily.
Is this a recurring thing?
At least unlike last time, I don't need to worry about performing extensive censoring due to the content being NSFW. However, Koga senses something that Zaruba does not, the intent from Karma's servants.
Wow, Zaruba, you're really slipping in your advanced age. Or did your little death affect your ability to work right and you've been covering your ass for 5 years?
The next day, they meet with Rekka.
Damn, Rekka ain't taking no snark.
They get into why the priests have teamed up for the city. The Senate's loyal Makai Knights, big surprise, And that, though, while it's still a knight's duty, the priesthood has been doing it for longer, so have more tricks.
Well, that's why you're operating as a team. Hell, get together a 5-man band and hunt monsters of the week. You can call yourselves Gecko Sentai Makai Ranger. That is what I should have named my Chroma Squad team.
There's obviously some lingering resentment in Rekka about not being able to become a knight. This is of course because there are no Makai armor designed for women, and as addressed previously, the resource by which the priests originally made the armors is unavailable to make new ones.
At least in the whole retrospective / looking back to the expansions of the lore sense. The origins of the Makai Knight armor wouldn't really be gotten into until Yami wo Terasumono, which I still need to watch.
Still, it kind of informs why Rekka's more of an active combat priest, compensating for a lack of armor she can't equip by being really damn skilled, showing that priests can still be useful in the field without a knight. This prompts a new flashback from Koga, to him attempting to get training from another knight to get stronger back when he was a kid, but being rejected because even then he lacked practice with even the basics required for proper training under a knight.
Hey, couldn't have hurt to at least see his overall progress and give a few pointers, make sure he's not self-sabotaging himself, which happens when you learn something on your own. There's a reason I call my understanding of Japanese flawed. Really need to find time to finish the advanced coursework.
Shion and Kurusu learn of Koga's arrival, concerned that, though Karma has devoured other knights, the one bearing the title of Garo may be too much for her. But Karma sees such as inconceivable. At a shop Akaza runs, they try to describe for Karma, but to no effect. Karma actually doesn't manifest in the real world. It's a mirror monster.
Oh, so this is the entity that created the mirror world. Wow, Shiro's monsters were feeding an eldritch abomination the entire time. It's no wonder that wish was cursed.
Well, sort of. Karma prefers to keep itself behind the mirrors for protection, as she can transfer her realms to any mirror. Thus, the aperture is near impossible to destroy in current society, and entering the realm is a problem, as that leaves the dilemma of 1. Karma completely controlling the realm, thus anyone doing it is fighting at a disadvantage, and 2. She controls the entrance and exit. Kill her, and you die in the mirror. That's even assuming you survive getting in. There is an artifact some Makai priest figured out which will tear open the entrance to her realm, which is made from horror fangs.
And I assume at some point in the past, instead of reducing them to ash when stealing their essence, they used to harvest horror parts or something. Kind of curious how they have all of these available already all of the time. What did the ye olde Makai Knights and priests have to go through to gather all of this knowledge to use in their endless cycle of horror emergencies anyways?
But there's only one of these artifacts left. Fortunately, Akaza has it. Though sadly, despite it being used previously, no knights return from Karma's realm. Period. Thus, Akaza is hesitant to hand it out again. Koga sees Rekka training and tries to offer some advice, from one field combatant to another, that she's all attack and no defense.
守りの型など学ぶ必要はない。敵を倒せばいいことだ!
You are neither fast enough to replace defensive tactics with evasive ones, strong enough to endure such blows, especially with how large horrors can get, or able to mass cast spells to warrant the glass cannon classification which could ignore such. As we were shown before, your recklessness almost got you killed in one strike, if not for Koga. Rekka, you really do not want to get wrecked.
This is shown by example of Koga kicking her ass in a spar while using a defensive style in a similar manner to the man from the earlier flashback, which enrages Rekka that she was taken down so easily.
Might want to try putting some points in leatherworking then. Craft some lightweight armor, maybe carry a shield. Go Red Mage on their asses.
Later, Shion tries to claim another victim, Koga interceding in this and the former fleeing, managing to escape. However, this was intentional, so as to track them to their hideout, finding a barrier around it that's hidden their ability to scry or sense it. So, Zaraba's not getting old. But those barrier seals imply a priest is responsible, meaning Koga's impromptu allies may have a traitor in their midst, the scene after implying it's Akaza.
Gee, that was some wasted dramatic potential.
Rekka and Koga enter the club and walk through its various displays of debauchery. Rekka honestly blending right in, to the point Shion approaches her about sating her desires.
It's called cell metals. You insert one into your head, and the beast that spawns will give you whatever you want. What? No, why would we be talking about sex?
No, it's actually to lead her to the mirror and get Rekka to try and use it so Karma can eat her. But...
残念だな。俺には邪念はない。
邪念がない。そうかな。
Daizanto!
Yeah, this is Rekka's father. He was one of the previous knights that died trying to steal Karma, and thus her motivator in why she's so obsessed with being the one to stop Karma.
The man is also the one Koga approached in his flashback for training, though I don't think he realizes that at any point.
Shion keeps Rekka from attacking, as she's shown her father's demise, an illusion of her desire, wanting to stop it, which almost sucks her in. Koga intercedes, as he's been doing all movie thus far, shattering the mirror, but the minions grab a spare as it transmutes into the chosen form, and try to flee with it. Kurusu holding Koga back, and their fight seen as entertainment by the club patrons.
Really? We're doing the bystander effect thing?
Well, of course, they need to stick around, otherwise Karma couldn't use her unexplained horror powers to turn the lot of them into minions using glass shards that initially attack them. Rekka assaults them, at this point not seeing them as any different than people that are possessed by normal horrors, to Koga's disgust. But when Koga manages to crack the mirror again, it frees everyone from the possession. Kurusu changes into his horror form, prompting Koga to transform and...
She can do that? She can do that. Well, I would think that would have been in the file the Senate has on Karma.
Kurusu overpowers the pair, stabbing through Koga's shoulder and deciding to eat Rekka, only for Koga to pull him down the length of the spine to get closer to Kurusu.
Holy crap, dude! Koga's pulling a Godai!
I can't even imagine how freaking painful that has to be. Though, I'll admit, this makes a lot more sense than Godai pushing the impaling spear through his body when all he needed to do was break the shaft and push off of it. Koga has to distract the monster from his goal, and breaking the spine would probably put him out of range of recovering his sword, so as to sever the arm, if he were even able to break it while, unharmed. However, other swordsmen enter the picture as Rekka hesitates in attacking Kurusu, Karma's forces withdrawing, and the swordsmen in turn revealed to be naught but illusions.
誰が裏切った
Betrayal! What?
She figures Akaza for it straight up, Koga having to restrain her from attacking him in anger before he finally collapses from blood loss.
So, they didn't save anyone from being eaten, didn't stop Karma from escaping, failed to eliminate either of Karma's disciples, and lost the strongest and most prestigious Makai armorer to Lapis Lazuli. It's been a bit of a day.
As he recovers, he flashes back again to his encounters with Rekka's father, and the petty motivators he had back then, which the man did try to break him from.
焦るな、坊主。お前の時代はまだずっと先だ。
It transitions quite well back to reality by Koga hearing the same flute Rekka's dad plays in turn used by Rekka, which follows dialogue that infers the connection without really saying it. But it's quite obvious. She admits to her faults, blaming herself for the loss of the Garo armor.
俺は今の自分が大嫌いだ。
お前を守れてよかった。
鎧が奪われたんだぞ。そんな俺に。
But Koga explains the philosophy that's guided him as a knight, that every connection between people matters, and repeats Rekka's father's words.
焦るな、レッカ。お前の時代はまだこれからだ。
And it might have been better to pace this reveal out. You know, have that be said on the earlier flashback so as to build up to that snap. Oh, moment of realization that happens here? Cause as it's formatted, it's kind of beating you over the head with the same concept when it was just given to us by another character.
However, now they need to figure out how to reclaim the armor before they can even think of defeating the horrors, as the base level Garoken is not going to cut it.
だからこうが旧魔界語で希望を意味する言葉は知っているな
ガロだ。俺が継承した名前だ。
Oh, is that what it means? Huh. Kind of hitting you over the head with that, but it makes sense. Though it does make me ask if the other armors we've seen throughout the series also have similar conceptual names.
Karma and her minions set up shop in a new location, but find amongst their number a floating fish?
The newest Sharknado movie is weird.
And why was this the chosen familiar for tracking them? Why not a nocturnal bird or something? That'd be a lot less conspicuous than a flying fish.
Or are land-dwelling fish a thing in this reality? I am now terrified I'm going to find a trout in my basement the next time it floods.
Akaza explains his role in things, that he was given a mirror that allowed him to see his dead family, what they died from is not explained, and thus was led into abandoning his duties to help them in exchange for keeping it. But now, with what it's cost, he's ready to make up for it in any way he can.
You are so taking them to Tokyo Disneyland after this. Their version of the It's a Small World ride certainly needs purifying. Preferably with fire.
But Koga draws the line at having him kill himself, instead requesting he dedicate everything to training the others in the skills they've not yet acquired. So they scry for Karma, again, and plan the attack on the related building, Shigoto and Akaza setting up barriers as they enter, and search it so as to keep them from being ambushed by horrors, as Rekka and Koga climb upwards, likewise hunting through it. They come under attack by Shion and Kurusu, the latter defenestrating Koga.
I get to use defenestration in context. I am so happy!
And Karma likewise calls in additional subordinates, manifesting those she's devoured into her own personal army. Rekka uses a spell involving water and fish to take out Shion, as Koga survives the fall by stabbing his sword into the wall while Kurusu is distracted by Shion's death. Rekka sends a signal to him, leading them to Karma's mirror. However, as Shion dies in Kurusu's arms, it transitions to the memory of an old man who lost his loved one, and is senile enough to not recognize those around him, instead substituting in those he lost. Karma manifested in his mirror, offering his loved one back in exchange for servitude.
And of course, that's Cruz and Shion. Bit late for this, to be honest.
Kurusu breaks down upon this second loss of Shion, attacking Rekka as they approach Karma. In the struggle, the blade that could open the door to Karma's realm strikes the mirror, and all three... Inside the mirror, Cruz confronts them over Shion's loss, not seeing what he did to get her back and keep her back was wrong.
Yeah, how many series have I reviewed that have said otherwise? You're just a selfish asshat, and that specific phrase seems cliché to those that are in no way redeemable. Why did Masashi Kishimoto keep making his antagonist good guys revolve around that crap?
He's not wrong. This Shion wasn't his, just a puppet made for them. He transforms, but as they're now in the mirror... Oh, now that's just badass. Karma shows herself as Cruz is killed, holding off the Garoken as the realm shatters, now more resembling a horror realm. Karma shows her true...
Oh goddammit. Now I know why Karma is considered Messiah-like.
The mirror shards are too plentiful for Koga to sufficiently counter, but Akaza sends Rekka's flute to her, somehow. Akaza saying her playing can reinvigorate their side's will to fight.
さすればあの二人同様永遠の命を預けようぞ。何が永遠の命だ。貴様の住むこの世界には未来はない。
Karma entombs Koga in a bowl of molten glass, dropping him to the floor and making to attack Rekka. But before it can connect, Koga breaks free, followed by every knight Karma has devoured, all of them charging into battle after being awoken by Rekka's song, including
父さん
The spirits of the fallen knights all fuse with the Garo armor, energizing it and triggering yet another form change. Behold! Garo Dragon Formation uses its flight, agility, and renewed strength to disable Karma, and with the final strike ring, kills the horror and shatters the mirror, ejecting the pair from the realm, and finally ending Karma's spree. However, they find that to achieve this, Akaza sacrificed himself in order to send her the flute, Rekka collapsing at the revelation.
赤座が守ったのは俺たちの命だけじゃない。そうだよな、甲賀。そうなんだよな。
奉仕が守ったのはたくさんの人たちの未来だ。俺たちはそれを託されたんだ。
In the wrap-up, Koga asks what Rekka's going to do, and she decides to stay with Shigoto and help him protect their city from local horror outbreaks, as Koga returns to his district, the job never done.
俺がこの町にいることを忘れるな。お前が苦しい時は必ず俺がお前の力になる。
And she gifts him a small fish, just in case either needs a call.
まさか黄金騎士に会えるとは思わなかったぜ。
あいつはみんなの希望の光だ。
He's the hope we need, but not necessarily the one we deserve. This movie is actually really good.
As a standalone adventure reintroducing the realm, it works really good, while gelling a lot with what's been depicted before. Hell, those little magic robots especially. Rekka has a good one-and-done character story keeping her as a deuteragonist, and there's something of a character arc for her. While for Koga, it's more of an extension on his role as the most prestigious Makai Knight and what may have informed his journey to becoming the knight he is now. Even Karma was pretty clever with its modus operandi. Clearly one of the more intelligent horrors shown thus far.
Hell, even the title is appropriate. A requiem is a song intended to soothe the dead, and that does end up happening at the movie's climax.
My biggest issue comes from cliches that this series more or less has avoided or used better than this, and some of the arrangement of scenes, particularly the flashbacks that kind of clash with the progression of the main story. They're not bad, but some things could have been paced out more to better foreshadow what was to follow.
Then again, the Garo franchise is not that good at foreshadowing, preferring to give details to you when needed, instead of having details that call back to prior events. At least they don't contradict themselves when they do that.
Overall, I'm glad this is the movie that would lead to Garo's revival, so we could get more series about Mystic Knights slaying monsters born of humanity's inner darkness, which is a niche I really enjoy.
And thus, my coverage of Garo ends for the year. Sadly, due to scheduling, I was not able to fit in the time to watch Makai Senki for review, meaning it's going to be pushed back a year. However, a few months ago I ran into a movie collection containing several imported films that were works of Keita Amamiya's, one being an entry into a franchise I have reviewed previously. Are any of you familiar with Mechanical Violator Hokkaido?